What's up, guys? It's your boy, the Blockchain Trapper, and you know we stay posted on the blockchain, and we back again for another video. And today's video is volume 2 of the DeFi Starter Pack, where I'm going to be making videos about everything you need to know to get your DeFi trap up and running. In the last video, we got our MetaMask wallet set up, and we got some funds over to the Binance Smart Chain. Today, we're going to be talking about the DEX, as in Decentralized Exchange. If you don't know the difference between a centralized exchange and a decentralized exchange, I'll break it down for you. First off, at this point, you should already know that an exchange is basically the place where you go and exchange the tokens that you have for the different token that you want. Pretty straightforward. Now, the difference between a centralized and decentralized exchange can kind of get long-winded, but let me simplify it with an analogy. Imagine you walked into an arcade and you wanted to exchange your dollar bills for some game tokens. You have two options. You can go to the attendant, you know, that guy with the coin utility belt, and you can swap them out directly with him. He may or may not ask us for questions. He may or may not want to see your ID. Or you can go to the machine and not have to deal with the human, and the process is fully automated. As long as there's some change in the machine, it's going to work. Now, in this example, the centralized exchange would be the cashier, or in crypto, an exchange such as Coinbase, Crypto.com, and many others, where it's controlled by a single entity and they want to see your ID, they want to get all your info, and they want to scan your face. In a decentralized exchange, or a DEX, as we like to call it, would be the coin machine, where there's no one in control of it asking you for your info. It's just a machine full of tokens. Of course, it's a little more to it than that, but that should kind of give you a basic understanding. Now, every blockchain that you'll be using will have a main DEX on it where you can go and swap your tokens. Of course, there's going to be a lot of other options that pop up, but there's always a main DEX, which is the biggest and the safest, and that's where you want to start at. Now, since we're going to be on Binance Smart Chain, the main DEX here is Pancake Swap. And Pancake Swap is where you're going to swap your BNB to any other token that you want to use. So let's take a look at it. First thing you want to do when you go to the website is you want to connect your wallet. Let's go ahead, connect the MetaMask. Boom, we're connected. Now this is going to work on both mobile and desktop. But let's take a look at it. If you look at the menu, you can see there's all different types of options. Now, Pancake Swap, they're a major player. They're the biggest and the baddest on BSC. So they're a whole full ecosystem. They got the exchange, liquidity, earn, farms, pools, NFTs, lotteries, the whole shebang bang, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But today we're going to be focusing on the exchange, and we're going to take a look at liquidity as well. So let's take a look at the exchange. As you can see, it's very simple and straightforward. The one that's on top is a token that you have, and the one that's on bottom is the token that you want. That's simple. If you look on here, it's going to have some tokens that are automatically in here. These are tokens that are what's called whitelisted. Tokens that are already trusted in the system, that are major tokens, that are big tokens, they're whitelisted. Now, if you're out here in these DeFi streets, a lot of times the token that you want to swap is not whitelisted. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to add the contract address. You can easily find a contract address from a website like CoinGecko, or you can get it directly from the developer. You can get it from the docs that are on the website or wherever. You just want to make sure you're getting the actual contract address, because there's a lot of scammers out there that will try to give you a fake contract address so they can scam you. So wherever you're getting the contract address from, you want to make sure it's the official one. So CoinGecko is definitely a solid place that you can trust. Let's say if we wanted the contract address for the pigs token, we type in pigs. Boom, this is the Animal Farm Pigs token. If we want the contract address, first thing we want to do is go over here to this section right here that says info, and you see it says contract. Depending on if the token is on multiple blockchains, it will have multiple contract addresses. This is on the BSC chain only. As you can see, I'm hovering over and it says BSC, so that's the contract address. All you got to do is click it, copy it, go back to Pancake Exchange, paste it in, click the import button. Yes, I understand. Anyone can create a token. That's why I said make sure you get the correct contract address, and then click import. Boom. Now we have the pigs token that's imported. Now, another thing to consider is what's called the slippage amount. Slippage is basically the difference in the amount of tokens that you should get versus the amount of tokens that you want because of price fluctuations. Usually it's set to 1 by default. Some tokens will want you to adjust that slippage to a higher number to get the transaction to go through, but usually it's set to 1 by default. Just a rule of thumb is the higher the slippage, the bigger the difference is in the tokens that you will receive. So you want to keep the slippage as tight as possible. So if I want to exchange 1 BNB for PIGS token, I would just type in 1 BNB, and that's going to give me 1.02 PIGS tokens. PIGS looking pretty good. I got my slippage set to 1%. Let's go ahead and hit the swap button. The menu pops up. Hit the confirm, pay a little gas. And you can also add this token to your MetaMask as well, just by clicking that button, or you can go old school and paste the contract in. Transaction complete. Now you see I have 1.02106 PIGS tokens. That's simple. Pretty straightforward to swap. Now let's talk about liquidity. If you're going to be in these DeFi streets, liquidity is something that you're going to be doing a lot. Now remember when I said the DEX is the automatic change machine? Well, somebody has to put the change in the machine, and it's the same with the DEX. We call it liquidity. Now, the topic of liquidity really deserves its own video, but we'll cover it briefly. Let's go to the liquidity tab. Anybody can add liquidity to a DEX. People do this so that other people can come swap their tokens. And for doing so, you earn trading fees, and you can pull your liquidity out at any time. I'll give you an example of how it works. Let's use dimes and quarters in this example. We all know that it takes 4 quarters to make $1, and it takes 10 dimes to make $1. Let's say you want to provide $2 worth of liquidity for the quarter and dime pair on the exchange. You would provide $1 worth of dimes, and you would provide $1 worth of quarters. That will make up $2. So you would deposit 4 quarters and 10 dimes to equal a total of $2. Let's say that someone wanted to come and swap out 2 quarters for 5 dimes. They would put their 2 quarters into the DEX and swap it out with your deposited coins. They would receive 5 of your dimes in exchange for their 2 quarters. So you would end up with 6 quarters and 5 dimes, but it still equals $2. Now, that was a rough explanation, and there's definitely a little bit more to it, but that should just give you a general idea of how it works. Just an FYI, with cryptocurrencies, they do go up and down in price based on the value of the tokens that you have deposited. Your US dollar value can go up or down, which is called impermanent loss. And that's a whole nother video in its own. But just so you know, the dollar amount can go up and down based on the price of the market. Now, when you deposit those tokens into the liquidity pool, you're going to get a receipt showing how much you deposited. And that receipt is called an LP token, or short for liquidity provider token for short. This token represents the 2 tokens that you deposited, and you can redeem these LP tokens for your original tokens that you deposited at any time. So let's take a look at that. We're going to add some liquidity. So the first thing we want to do is click this button that says add liquidity. Once you click that, you select the currencies that you want to add. Let's add some BUSD, and let's add some PIGS liquidity. Just like on the swap page, if you click the drop down, you'll see the list of tokens. Some of them will be whitelisted. Some of them will be the ones that you've imported. If you don't see the token you're looking for, you'll just have to import it like we just did on the swap page. So I'm going to add some liquidity with the PIGS token. So if I hit the max of PIGS token, for what I have, my 1.02 is going to need 391 BUSD. So I need an equal amount of PIGS token and an equal amount of BUSD. All I do is just hit supply. It's going to let me know how many BUSD PIGS tokens I will get. And that's 19.5076 BUSD PIGS tokens. And this lets me know that I'm going to have 391 BUSD and 1 PIG token. So if I hit confirm supply, my menu is going to pop up, pay a little gas, boom. You can also add this LP token to your MetaMask as well. See, I got my receipt, transaction confirmed. Now, one of the things you can do with these LP tokens is you can use these LP tokens and you can stake these into a yield farm or a contract like the Piggy Bank or the Drip Garden. And then that's when the big bucks start rolling in. And now you know how to swap your BNB for another token and how to create a liquidity pair and get the LP tokens so you can start running up the bag on the BSC. Now, just a reminder, everything that we just went over is for educational purposes only and is no way considered financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor, and investing in cryptocurrency can be very risky, so do your own research and make your own decisions.